and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
It's Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us this morning, Monday, April the 21st, day after Easter. Easter Monday, as it's normally called. I'm Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll say good morning to former mayor of the town of Cumberland. Bill Murray has joined us. Hi, Bill.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
How are you today?
All right. How are you?
Great.
Did you have a nice Easter?
Wonderful. How about you?
Good. It was great. It was very nice. Thanks.
Too much food.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is always...
Way too many cookies.
Now, did you have the instant potatoes? You knew I wasn't going to... Okay.
My family likes for years, we've been going to Wright's Farm every Easter. So you load up on the French fries out there, which is just terrific.
Yeah, no, you can't.
It's like just more fries, well, of course.
Yeah.
Keep setting them down. Dominic Dwaron is here. Hi, Dominic.
Good morning and happy Easter to everyone.
Happy Easter to you. Now we're going to be hearing from Dan Gendron, who's on the phone at the moment, and we're going to hear from Dave, who's out at the start of the Boston Marathon. He's not running the marathon. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Sure.
I want to make that perfectly clear first. But we're going to talk to Dominic about the breakfast with the Saints, which is coming up this coming weekend. But first, on the telephone line with us right now is Woonsocket City Council President Dan Gendron, who's also not running the Boston Marathon today. Correct, Dan?
Well, I actually am, but I stopped just because I wanted to talk to you, and I'll get back in the line in a minute.
Isn't that wonderful?
Boy,
now there's dedication.
I'll tell you.
Yes.
Dan never changes. This is Bill Murray.
No, I will not be running the Boston Marathon.
I put money on you. I don't know why you didn't run.
Who's saying that?
That's Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Oh, okay. Hey, Bill, how are you?
Good. How are you? Happy Easter.
Good, thank you.
Dominic Dwaron's here as well. It's a big news day, Dan. Not just here locally in Woonsocket, but the Pope has passed away. And I don't know if you heard, Dominic Ruggiero has passed away today as well.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that came down within the last 30 minutes.
About 7:30, Dan, I just heard it. I was telling Joe I had talked to him a couple of months ago because I had a good relationship with him. And he wasn't doing well, so in one sense it wasn't a surprise. Yeah.
76 years old for Dominic, so you'll be hearing a lot more about that today as well. But you're here to tell us about the Woonsocket City Council meeting, which is tonight at 7 o'clock at Harris Hall. You can also hear it on ON Radio. But tell us about the highlights of the agenda for tonight, Dan.
Well, first I want to say hi to you, Joe and Dominic. Thank you for having me on.
Mm-hmm.
I think if anyone's been following for the last few days, the big issue that's coming up tonight is going to be the homeless situation. We're addressing it in a multi-pronged approach. The first being that we have before us the approval of a lease to potentially site a homeless shelter at 181 Cumberland Street.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the old Viola Barad building, as many people know it. And
you know where it is, Dominic, right? Right across the street from St. Anne's. Okay.
But I will tell you, and Dominic, especially for you, there was a lot of work put into this to make sure that it's something that's manageable for the city, for the people especially that it will help, the homeless to leave the encampments, because that is necessary too. But the homeless shelter that the lease is for tonight will be for a maximum of 50 beds or 50 sleeping people. So it's, in some shelters they'll have 50 beds and they allow another 20 people to sleep there. We will not allow that. It's going to be 50 overnight people. They all have to be contained and housed inside of the structure. There will be no camping outside or sleeping in your cars outside or loitering outside. And the group that will be running this was something that was dictated by the state, is a group called Open Doors, and they do run another shelter in Pawtucket, which several of us toured, and it's very well run. It's, there's no outside activity allowed. It's very, very well monitored. So we're hopeful that we're going to end up with a similar situation here in Woonsocket, and that leads us to the second phase of addressing the homelessness, and that is once to establish the homeless shelter, then we provide options for the people in the encampments, and then we're able to clean up and shut down the encampments, and then have safe, secure housing for the homeless people that desire it, and we return a civil lifestyle to the great 40,000 plus residents of Woonsocket.
You expecting any pushback on tonight's at tonight's meeting about this, Dan?
Well, let me, Bill. Should
Yeah.
I be expecting any pushback whenever there's something on the agenda? Do you get pushback one way or another?
You have it all the time.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Yeah,
I do. I think that there'll be some.
Okay.
But I don't think there's been a lot of work put into this lease agreement, and I know that, I mean, will Dominic, would he prefer it being in another location? I'm sure. It's next door to Fournier and Fournier Funeral Home. I know that they don't necessarily want it there, but I think this is where it comes to make sure that we as the city do everything we can to make it operate cleanly and securely for not only the people that are living there, but the people surrounding this establishment. And it will require the open doors people to make sure that the loitering outside isn't a problem, and it is not allowed. So I think there will absolutely, I would expect pushback, but I think ultimately everyone wants to see this issue addressed.
All right, should make for a fascinating meeting tonight, Dan.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And then, with you guys have kind of set me between the Pope and the
Senate President
Dominic Ruggiero. It kind of puts things in perspective a little bit, that how fragile and how delicate life can be, and people that you don't expect, or I mean, not that we didn't expect, but it comes quicker than you think sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure does.
Absolutely. All right, Dan, thanks for the call. Any other important things you want to get out about tonight's meeting, or are we good to go?
I'm looking at the agenda, and
Okay.
I think that the rest of the stuff is pretty commonplace, and I don't think that there'll be much to be said about that.
Okay.
No, I feel good that you got the highlights, and if you have any questions for me, if not,
No, I think we're good.
then I'll let you get back to the breakfast with the Saints.
All right. Thank you very much, Dan. Thanks for calling, and we will hear you tonight at the Woonsocket City Council meeting.
Good luck, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Good luck,
Thank you
Dan.
very much, Bill.
Okay.
Take care,
Take
Dominic.
care.
Take care, Bill.
Take care.
Bye, Joe.
Right.
All right. As we mentioned, the Pope passed away, and I'm taking a look at our national news. He's been the Pope for 12 years. That seems like yesterday he was elected.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, wow, it's always been 12 years.
12 years?
That's
I didn't
amazing.
realize that.
But he, they ran down all the firsts that he
Right.
was. First guy from the Americas.
Yeah.
There were other firsts that he was. That was the biggie. First one coming from outside of Europe. That was just amazing. But he did pass away. His death was announced this morning in a short statement from the Vatican, which included a reference for him having dedicated his entire life to the service of the Lord and his church. Pope Francis was 88. He's only been out of the hospital for about a month at the time of his passing, having been treated in Rome for various respiratory ailments, including double pneumonia.
Yeah.
And it didn't look good then when he was in the hospital. I was like, geez, I don't think he's going to make it out of the hospital.
He kept bouncing back.
And he
was,
did.
It was
And it was
unbelievable.
amazing.
And he was in Easter celebration. He was in.
He waved to the crowd yesterday.
Yep. He was in the
that were there.
Pope Mobile.
Yeah.
Did you know that it was announced? It was on. Not that I did a lot of research on it, but it was on radio this morning.
Yeah.
He didn't live in the Pope's palace or whatever they want to call it. No,
he didn't.
He lived in a separate place away from the near the Vatican, but and he will not be laid to rest with all the other popes.
He's going to be outside the Vatican.
Right, he's out of one of the churches that's outside the Vatican. And
There are a few that have been. Not all the popes were buried.
Not
there.
all of them.
There are a few that are outside
Yeah,
of
he's
the
not the
walls of the
first to do
Vatican.
this.
but they did mention that he was very liberal
Yes.
In fact, when he had the conversation with J.D. Vance 2 days ago,
Well, that just happened.
he told J.D. Vance, I guess, a few things that he didn't like what was going on with the president, Trump.
Well, probably.
And
yeah,
no,
okay.
and because he's very liberal. Now the question is, will they stay liberal in the church kind of pecking order?
Yeah.
Or will they go back to being conservative?
And you want to be careful when you say liberal. I mean, comparatively speaking, liberal, but not liberal.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
yeah,
he certainly made some changes. He certainly laid some groundwork for the future. Something which a lot of the stuff he did got a lot of pushback, even from the American Council of Bishops and stuff like that. Yeah, I think you want to be careful with using the term liberal with him. Comparatively speaking, yeah.
Well, they used it today. They're talking about him on radio on the radio.
So they obviously they'll have a funeral for him. That has not been decided when, and then the Cardinals will get together, the conclave that gets together, and they go into seclusion to do this, all very secretive, and then we'll just wait for the white smoke.
That's it.
To come up and say a new pope's been elected. So, okay, that's all ahead of us right now. And just breaking within the last hour or so, Senate President Dominic Ruggiero, powerful figure in Rhode Island politics. He has passed away. He was 76 years old. His death was confirmed by his office. He had been battling cancer and other ailments for over a year and hospitalized just again last week. North Providence Democrat, Ruggiero was the longest-serving member of the General Assembly. He had held on to the Senate's top leadership post for nearly a quarter century. Finally ascending to the job in 2017. Last fall, he beat back a leadership challenge and been mounting concerns about his health. So, okay. And so now that'll trigger a contest out on the Senate floor. Who becomes the next president?
Well, they have. He's got. When they had the other battle when they tried to unseat him, when Pearson tried to unseat him,
Yeah.
he developed a new team around him. And my guess, not that I'm the expert on it, but I know many of them. I knew President Ruggiero. He's a great man, very good guy to deal with. Like when I was mayor, you could go to him, and he would go out of his way if he believed in what you were looking for. But he was just a nice guy to just talk to, And so he developed this when Senator Pearson went after him. He's got kind of a block that he developed that I would assume that one or two or three, in fact, one of them that I'm not sure he would do I think he's number 3 there is DeCoyne from Smithfield. Colonel DeCoyne, who I know, he's the former police chief of.
Frank Chacon?
No.
Okay.
DeCoyne, not Chacon.
Oh, okay.
DeCoyne was former state police. He was also the police chief in North Providence, and then he was on the not school committee, but the council for Smithfield, and he's now a senator. But he's risen very quickly to number 3. So that's a name that you could.
Other names being kicked around, although Ruggiero said if he could name a successor, he would go with Senate Majority Leader Val Lawson.
She's number 2.
She's an East Providence Democrat. And then State Senator Ryan Pearson, who replaced Majority Leader by Lawson, also is his name is being kicked around. Then we got Senate Labor Committee Chairman Frank Chacon and State Senator Dawn Uer, E-U-E-R, as names that are being kicked around. So. Oh, the fun is just starting now. Okay.
Oh, that'll be a battle. Believe me.
All right. Coming up this weekend on Sunday, Breakfast with the Saints. Here's a better subject. away from death now for a little while. But this is your big fundraiser for the year, right, Dominic?
This is our biggest fundraiser that we do at the center. It comes off the heels of being kind of closed down for the winter, aside from a couple of big other events that take place. But it kicks off our every year. This kicks off our tour season. Believe it or not, this is the 15th year that we have Breakfast with the Saints.
Wow! And
believe it or not, this October will mark 25 years that St. Anne's was closed.
Has it been?
As a church, 25 years. So this Sunday, April 27th, from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. is our annual Breakfast with the Saints. Tickets are $20 in advance or $25 at the door. And we do that to try to encourage, pre-ticket sales, so we have a better idea of how many people are coming. But it's amazing how many people will pay the $25 at the door. You can get tickets at Beatles Flowers, Creative Impressions, The Honey Shop, Timeless Antiques, Vos True Value Hardware, Pine Swamp Place, or you can call 401-486-9380, and that's Wally's number. You can to reserve tickets, or if you want to reserve a full table, you can do that as well. And of course, we have an entire breakfast buffet. With scrambled eggs, home fries, sausage, ham, apple French toast, baked beans, breakfast pasta, oatmeal and cold cereal, coffee and juice. And we also have a live piano player that morning that'll be playing, Mike Kregler.
Oh, nice.
He was with us last year for our annual Fresco Italiano, and we connected with him, and he's going to come in. So we'll have live piano playing while you're having breakfast. And then once you finish breakfast, this is a great opportunity to continue to explore the interior of the former church. And I say that some people are like, well, I've seen it. No, you haven't. I've been there my whole life. I am at church more than even the Pope was. And I still, to this day, will find, when you start looking closely, the amount of detail, there is stuff I can guarantee that you missed. So I was thinking about things I could share this morning. So it came into my head, there are two paintings that are hard to see. Up in the balcony, where unfortunately we can't allow people to go up to, but if you crane your neck and you look to either side of the organ on the side walls, there are Ninkeri, who painted, everything was thematic, so everything that surrounds, all the artwork that surrounds the pipe organ, the choir loft, all has some relation to music. And so here we are speaking about the Vatican. One was a painting of Palestrina, who was the Kapellmeister at the Vatican in the 16th century, in the late Renaissance. And he was enormously important for Western music, especially sacred music, and he developed all the counterpoint, a lot of counterpoint that we use today, and how to write voicing and stuff like that. Of course, we don't follow the rules that all the rules that he put in place. And then another guy is one name that's lesser known, is Guido Monaco. He was a monk in the medieval era, and he gave us the 5-line staff. And he created the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. He created that. And so they're portrayed in the art center as well. It's something that's oftentimes overlooked because they're harder to see, because you have to really be in the balcony to see them. But they're there, and you can see them from the floor.
All right, let's take a break here on the Coffee and Program. We're going to talk more with Dominic about Breakfast with the Saints coming up this Saturday. But we have to take a break, and comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary, with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them, Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
These specials at Michael's Meats are good through Wednesday, April 23rd. Michael's marinated chicken cutlets, $4.49 a pound. Chairman's Reserve trim pork tenderloin, $3.99 a pound. And large bay scallops, $7.99 a pound. See more specials on Michael's Meats Facebook page. Michael's Meats.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mirajoyed. That Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
It's time for the 15th annual Breakfast with the Saints at the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center on Sunday, April 27th from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Enjoy a delicious breakfast buffet under the center's magnificent frescoes. Tickets are $20 in advance or $25 at the door and are available at Belo's Flowers, Creative Impressions, The Honey Shop, Pine Swamp Place, Timeless Antiques, Vaux's True Value Hardware. Visit the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center website, or to reserve a table, call 401-486-9380.
WOON Woonsocket Radio.
And it's Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Bill Murray and Dominic Dwaron talking about Breakfast with the Saints coming up this Sunday, April 27th. And what's great about this, tickets are $20 a person in advance, $25 at the door, but the price is still the same. You would think with the price of eggs and what's going on with the shortage and everything that, oh, geez, we got to charge more because eggs are just so much more expensive. But you haven't. But you didn't have to do that.
It was certainly a topic of discussion.
I'm sure.
Because usually Wally. So all of this is also. For those that don't know, Wally, who not only is our chairman, he's also our cook.
Also the cook.
And head bottle washer and everything else. He cooks everything, and usually he'll do at least 2 or 3 different types of eggs, like a plain egg, a loaded egg.
Right.
So we cut back on that.
All right.
There's only scrambled eggs. You got one choice of eggs, because so we buy when you're cooking for several hundred people, you're not going out and getting eggs and cracking eggs on it. You go out and you get the bagged eggs.
Yes.
Which are easy. You boil them. You cut the bag open, you literally scramble it up, and you're good to go. And you add whatever you want to it. Well, 5 years ago, a case was $60, $70.
Okay.
125.
This year, $194.
I was way off.
And that was a month and a half ago. So Wally bought one case, and he said, "Well, let's see what happens." And prices have come down.
Yes, they have.
So
not a tremendous amount.
Not a tremendous amount. So we expect, okay, they're going to come. Nope, still $194.
Wow.
So, so obviously we had to cut back somewhere because this is a fundraiser, or else all the money would go just to the eggs. So he said, "All right, we'll keep the price the same. We'll just cut back on the egg offering."
Okay. Well, great.
That makes sense.
Look at your card. It just says, you have to excuse my naivete. What's breakfast pasta?
Yes.
I know what regular pasta is. Is this something new? I don't know what
so
this is.
it's pasta, but it'll have other like breakfasty stuff mixed in. So there might be a little bit of egg in it. I can't remember. Well, it depends what's on here. Wally is, when you get to know Wally, he's one of those people that can walk into a kitchen and you say, "Oh, I got nothing to make." He'll walk in.
No, we got this, and this, and boom.
Boom, there it is. And so it's going to depend. So sometimes you can have a little egg in it. Could be sausage and peppers in it, type thing.
All right.
So it's going to depend on, again, what's at the markets, what's at the restaurant supply places as far as food is concerned, and what hasn't spiked in price yet, or at least that much. So that'll sort of be a surprise one. But yeah, breakfast pasta.
All right. And you need the eggs to make the French toast too.
You need some eggs,
a little, make the coating. Right.
But that's not a traditional French toast. So this apple French toast, so it's like stuffed.
Great.
Where by the time he's done, like we generally don't even put out maple syrup on the tables because it's already mixed in, it's already blended.
Oh, nice.
But this menu is not strictly that. Sometimes Wally, when he's walking around someplace, goes, "You know what? That would be a great addition." And all of a sudden, bam! There's another dish
surprise
on
item,
the buffet, right?
Something
else to be
By
done.
the way, a lot of breakfast places, now have they're right on the door. We're charging 50 cents an egg more.
Yeah.
There's 2 or 3 places that I've been in the last month.
They have. I mean, in the restaurant business, your profit margin is already
and
super small. People think, "Oh, you're making a lot of." No. There's not a lot of money to be made.
No.
Well, as soon as those eggs come over from Belgium? Is that where they're coming from?
I don't know.
I forgot what European country are sending us eggs, but the first round's not coming until July 1st. And then the next round of eggs is coming December
supposed to lower
1st. And that's supposed to lower the price of eggs.
I didn't hear that.
And I think it was Belgium, but they're not coming for a little while. We got to collect them and package them and make sure they don't break on the,
Right.
on the way over. It's a long trip from wherever they're coming. So
do they have to drop the title fresh eggs?
well,
That's my question.
If it's fresh,
Right,
well, then this year is that?
Yeah,
like a fresh?
well,
I think it's a loose term.
Yes,
really,
yes, I
really
agree.
think
I
about
agree.
that. It-
Yeah, it
very
might-
loose.
I think if it's still in the egg, it's
Yeah,
still
right, it's
considered
fresh.
fresh,
It's
right?
As you've gone, as you put on the Breakfast with the Saints over the years, you see the same people coming back year after year.
We have people that are back each year, and we also
great.
have new people
New
every year.
people. Okay.
We talk about trying to bring tourism into the city, and this is really one of those touristy types of events where those of us who are working it, we're running around, like a chicken with a head cut off because there's so much work to be done. But when we take that moment to stop and look around, all of a sudden you see people wandering, you see the cameras out, and it's the tourist part. It's the tourist side, and it's always great to see that part happening and people really taking a real interest in. And this brings in people from all over. This is not just Woonsocket. We have people that drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to come to this breakfast.
Wow.
Again, it's because of the beauty of the building,
Yep.
the rarity. The style of artwork is not commonplace here in North America. And people forget that the Sistine Chapel, which is the same style, fits inside of St. Anne's. So we have more square footage of frescoes than even the Sistine Chapel has. And here it is. And then the point I always try to drive home with people, it's also a pictorial history. When it was painted in the 1940s, the artist used the faces of
Locals, right?
Locals.
Yeah.
And that's what we're saving. And then these locals, unbeknownst to them, would a few decades later become known as the Greatest Generation. So here we have a pictorial history of a snapshot of time of a group of people of our country who fought in and supported the World War II. And here they are. And it's unlike going to like the great mansions of Newport, which I enjoy visiting, and you have the portraits of all the super wealthy people, super rich, the mega rich, and here we have portraits of common working people. How often do you see that?
Yeah,
that's right.
Not often. And here it is, all encapsulated in one place. All those different variables come together inside the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center, which is why we've been doing the work that we've been doing, which is why Wally and myself, we've pretty much dedicated our lives to this project, knowing the importance of this building, not just the building itself, but the importance to the community as well, and how it brings people. We have weddings that have come in from the West Coast.
No kidding.
Just
to
get
get married at St. Anne's.
Wow.
That's
impressive.
The great Joni Mitchell. You don't know what you have till it's gone. Once it closed as a church, we were like, oh my gosh, this is. All of a sudden, they had the threat of it disappearing, and you can't take the paintings out. The paintings are a part of the building. That's it. So if the building comes down,
the
paintings go away.
That's like St. Patrick's that in Cumberland.
Oh, okay.
That closed down, and it's now. It was after me being mayor, but it started when I was mayor, and one of the biggest things at the diocese, I was in talking to them. We were going to try to save it, but we didn't have the money ability to do it, and because that's an old, very historic, if you know that St. Patrick's church, and but they're changing those into apartments and everything, but there's a lot of stuff they can't change because of you either rip the building down, which they didn't want to. They had a lot of kickback on that, but that was the only other choice you had, and utilize the property.
At the Breakfast of the Saints with the Saints, is it buffet style or do people actually come in and say, here you go?
No, buffet style.
Okay,
so we have
take what you want.
Take what you want.
Okay.
We'll have people serving it out, so we try to portion everything out, but you can always come back for more.
Yep.
So we have, if you've been upstairs, we removed all the pews. Those who haven't been in a long time, we removed all the pews on the side wall, so that's where all the dining is, and so we have two separate buffets running to serve each side of the room, and then you have the center of the room and the aisle and everything to walk down and to keep looking and again discovering new things. And I always tell people, when you walk around, take your cell phone with you, especially if you have a smartphone, and look something up. And that's how I've discovered so much detail in there. What does this mean? Because things in there aren't just painted to be things. You have to look at every single thing that's painted search it online, and then you're going to find the meaning of what the symbolism is.
How do you keep the church going all year round?
This is part of it.
Well, no, I know, but I don't think I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more there. That's why I asked you the question. So you got all year long. You just said how much time you spend and everything. Yeah. Do you run more fundraisers than just this? Or
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah. So we have a few other. We don't do a ton of fundraisers because we don't want to oversaturate and be like, hey, come to this fundraiser month after month. So we have this one. We'll have one in June called Fresco Italiano. We have a couple of fundraisers in the fall, and then a lot of it is renting out the facility. So people have special events.
I get you.
Everything from baby showers to larger events that utilize either the upper hall or the lower hall. We have a smaller, the old sacristy. We can, for dining purposes, we can actually seat 50 people in the sacristy to eat.
Oh, wow.
And so we've had some baby showers that will utilize the
Okay.
sacristy. So we've utilized different parts of the building
As a function hall.
as function halls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big weddings are a big part of our income.
Very interesting.
So
And you have bands come, like Philharmonic bands. And
we've had Philharmonic type bands and stuff come.
Because it's perfectly acoustically perfect.
I would think so. Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah. So we have a variety of things, and of course, people can always donate as well to the Arts and Cultural Center, and we get donations from not just within the city, but a lot of from outside the city as well. People who have come by and are just blown away that this is even here.
Great
All
cause.
Right. Well, we're going to take a break, but we want to just finish up. Breakfast with the Saints is this Sunday, April 27th, 8 a.m. to 11:30. 20 tickets at $20 in advance, $25 at the door. Dominic, where can they get tickets?
They can get tickets at Belos Flowers, Creative Impressions, The Honey Shop, Timeless Antiques, Vos True Value Hardware, Pine Swamp Place, or they can reserve a table or even purchase tickets by calling Wally at 401-486-9380. And if you missed anything that we talked about, you can always go to our website and get information from there as well.
So Wally not only cooks, but he takes phone calls. And
Someone's got to answer the phone.
I like to meet him. I think he sounds like an important person.
Dominic, if you like,
He is.
you can stick around if you like for the next half hour if you like. But if you got to go, we understand you got to go. So your choice.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Time for the forecast right now, being brought to you by Compassion International.
Mostly sunny skies today with a high of 63 and a calm wind. Tonight, showers are 70% likely, cloudy skies, overnight low of 46. Tuesday's weather. In the early part of the day, we have a chance of some showers, mainly before 7 a.m., patchy fog. Otherwise, cloudy and gradually becoming mostly sunny on Tuesday with a high of 75. Wednesday, sunshine and 69. Thursday, sunshine and 71. Friday, partly sunny and 71. Saturday, a 60% chance of showers likely, mostly cloudy and 65. And next Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 64.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, with sunny skies, we have 51 degrees. Thousands of kids in poverty have waited over a year for a sponsor, and their wait today. Become a Compassion sponsor. Text radio to 83393.
At George's Breakfast and Lunch, 793 Harris Avenue in Woonsocket, otherwise known as George's Restaurant, you'll get a chance to see John cook up whatever it is you want. Just a plate of eggs and bacon, or a beautiful omelet made with all kinds of interesting and fresh and delightful things. Or at lunchtime, maybe you want a big bowl of chicken soup. Hearty, you'll never have another bowl of chicken soup like you get at George's, that's for sure. Or any of the tuna melts or special sandwiches or regular meal. It's up to you at George's Breakfast and Lunch. Drop on by. Now, they're not open on Tuesdays, and you got to bring cash, but George's Breakfast and Lunch will leave a lasting impression on you all the time. George's Breakfast and Lunch is at 793 Harris Avenue, Woonsocket.
At Dean Bank, their focus is on helping their customers achieve financial success. Dean Bank is a full-service bank, so they're able to deliver solutions that solve financial problems of all shapes and sizes. And as your neighbor, it's their mission to make a positive impact within the communities where they live and work. Dean Bank offers scholarships to students from participating schools, sponsor local charitable organizations, and more. Visit one of their local Blackstone Valley branches in Bellingham and Blackstone today, or find us online at deanbank.com. Dean Bank, It's my bank.
Hey, it's Cruisin' Bruce from ON Radio. And what are people saying about my Saturday block party every weekend? Well, let's ask.
Hey, Bruce, big fans, Bobby and Jane. We try to call as much as possible from Cumberland.
I think you're wonderful. I love you. You're awesome.
God bless you. I really enjoy the show.
Hey, Bruce, this is Wendy. Thank you for all your great music.
You have a wonderful evening, and again, enjoying the show.
Hey, thank you very much. Make it a point to join me every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. on the one and only ON Radio.
Really make our weekends. I love it.
You're a legend.
Well, let's not go overboard.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray. Thanks to Dominic Dwaron, who joined us a little earlier here and talked about Breakfast with the Saints. But joining us now, Bill, on the phone is Mr. Dave Richards, who's out at the start line.
The famous Dave Richards?
The famous Dave Richards, out at the start line of the Boston Marathon. Are you there, Dave? Wait a minute. We can't hear you, Dave. Nope. We still can't hear you. That's very odd. You're so faint in the background. You can't hear him, can you, Bill?
No.
That's odd. All right. We'll have to try to get Dave back. So let me. Did I put him on hold? Nope. There he goes. All right. Denny, see if you can get Dave on the phone. In the meantime, over the weekend, Bill's son Mike came on and talked with Pat and Kevin in the Cheap Seats to talk about his book. And your son wrote a book. You didn't even know he was writing a book.
No, he it was 2 years, and it's not unusual because he's one of my kids that didn't tell us a lot that went on, and he was pretty close to the vest. And he came to his mother and I in the, let's say just before Christmas, and he said, "I got to tell you something," because we didn't. What's going on?
What's up? Yeah.
And I wrote a book. I said, "You did what?" And he goes, "Yeah, I wrote a book." He said, "I've been writing it for 2 years, and I'm going to get you a draft to read." So we had nothing to do with the book from the start to the finish.
All right. We think we got Dave again.
Okay,
here. So let's see if we got everything right here and say, okay, Dave, you there now?
Yeah, it looks like you had an air grab there in Woonsocket there.
I guess so.
I could hear you off in the distance there. I think there was a connection missing.
Okay, so Dave, we've been telling everybody you're at the start line, but you're not running the race. Now, is that true, or are you running today?
Oh, I'm running.
Oh, okay.
But that's only because the Porta-John is so far away.
You've been running for your life anyway, haven't you?
Is that Bill Murray?
Yeah, it is. How are you? Hi, Dave.
All right. Listen, it's good to hear your voice. But listen, folks, I just I didn't know if anybody'd be interested. I don't know if you can hear the music in the background.
A little bit.
I am a city block away from that music. That's how loud it is.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And I'm just telling you, directly across the street from the John Warren Masonic Hall here on Burleson Street in the main drag here in Holliston. I have not been here for the start of the Boston Marathon since 1982 when I broadcast it on the air on WWON back then.
All right.
And that telephone pole is still here. The wire was attached to. But it's like, yikes! It was just a few dozen people and some organizers and a few hundred runners and stuff like that. It's always this nice. Well, have a nice run. And now this is like,
thousands.
Did you ever see what they did on the movie Groundhog Day? The big deal that they made of the groundhog there, and they had the grandstand up. They have music playing and announcers and TV coverage and all the rest of it. Well, just picture that, or go to the Woonsocket Radio WOON AM and FM Facebook page and see a couple of small pictures I made about an hour and a half ago and post it up there, and you'll get an idea of what's going on here. It's quite the party in the center of Hopkinton, I'll tell you that. Now, you'll see in those pictures, everything is fenced off. You can't get there from here or from over there and stuff like that. No, there's actually a couple of places where you can cross. And they actually put big signs up because nobody can see where they can cross.
Right.
what a party! I'm telling you, but Hopkinton is beautiful. They have been working for a week, sprucing the place up. I'm looking at Channel 5's helicopter go by. Up over my head, there's the state police. They fly a little lower from the Massachusetts State Police. Across, next to the Masonic Hall, there is is that a bank building? Let me take a look. Yeah, the Middlesex Savings Bank. And on top of the Middlesex Savings Bank is two snipers with telescopes. They're keeping the rifles up so we don't see them, but they're there.
Well, tight security,
and,
of course.
Oh, if they got security here, you wouldn't believe the security.
And that's the stuff
and
you can
all
see.
The local TV stations have their little trucks and trailers up and stuff here, too. But Hopkinton Common is really set up for bear here. They're about to have a big demonstration by the Lancers. National Lancers will be here. TV coverage all over the place. Well, anyway, I don't want to get too far into it, but I'm just telling you that there's radio and there's TV. It's exciting to be here. At this time, our friends at Imperial Cars, right across the street from me, have put 4 of their brand new sharp-looking vehicles out there in front of the Masonic Lodge.
Oh, smart.
There's commercials and placards and signs everywhere.
How big is the crowd, Dave?
Right now, it's just getting here, and there's thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, one of the local ladies was going by, and she stopped by, and she said, you know, when I graduated high school in 1964, I was here, and I was one of 20 people that waved at them when they started running.
That's it.
No.
And it's 49 degrees. You
I
can
hear
the speakers.
I can hear the big announcers. Yeah, okay. All right, Dave.
It was 35 when we got here this morning.
Oh, it's much better
at,
now.
5 o'clock. And it's just starting to warm up a little bit.
Okay. All right, Dave. Well, thank you for calling in and telling us how it's going out there at the starting line. Best of luck.
Just a little bit of color from our neighbors to the north.
I appreciate
You behave yourself. I'll see you later, Joe.
Thanks, Dave. Already. There is Dave Richards out there at the start of the Boston Marathon today. All right, Bill, we were telling you your son Mike has written a book called Chasing the Goal.
Yeah.
And it was a big surprise to you and your wife.
Surprise to us, and as I said, he came to us, and then he sent us a draft after the holidays, and he told nobody, and because he didn't want to be influenced, because his father would have probably had.
Oh, by
the way, I've told people he had a little bit of a party Saturday. We had a big crowd that came, and people who wanted to buy the book and whatnot, and then get his autograph. And I said, well, I'm writing the sequel, and the sequel is going to be through the eyes of his mother and father. So I thought about that. A lot of stuff we knew, by the way, a lot of stuff we didn't know.
A little behind the scenes stuff. Okay.
Just so much. But his career was amazing.
Yeah.
And I could
6 years in the
for
NHL.
people. For people to look at it, to read it, I can attest to the fact that I never had to push him. He was self-motivated. He knew what he wanted to do, and there was a great. I think it's in the book because people were talking about it because he's mentioned it. So he had one of his other brothers, Kevin, was a very good athlete who ended up playing 3 years of baseball at Assumption. Good hockey player and a good football player, but he didn't have the size that Michael had. And the difference between the two, Kevin never worked at it. And he'll tell you he was with us Saturday, and he's told his kids who are pretty good athletes, one with a scholarship up at St. A's for golf. And he said, I hope you take after your uncle and not me.
Yeah.
But Kevin was a natural, and Michael will say it. Michael was not a natural. He made himself a good athlete.
If you want to hear the entire interview with Mike Murray, you can go to OneSocketRadio.com, click on the ON TV on demand, and you can see the cheap seats with Kevin and Pat, and you can see the whole interview there. Do you know if he's planning on having any kind of? You had the thing on Saturday with a book signing. Is he planning any other book signings in the area?
He's meeting actually Tuesday with his promotional team. That he had a team that did the editing and kind of took him through it. He did all the writing himself, by the way. Some people asked, "Did you really do the writing?"
Sometimes they have.
And I'll tell you this little
ghostwriters.
tidbit. My father was an editor, and a big editor in New York and also at Lowell, Mass. Little old son, and we heard from one of his professors when he was at Cushing, made a statement. He said, I hope you continue. You're a good writer. That's the only kid in my family, and I got a lot of kids. I have a lot of children that has the writing ability, and it's Michael.
All right.
And that's proven by this book. I was so proud of that.
Well, if they come up with something where there's a public signing
Yeah,
of
okay.
the book, we'd love to know about it, when it takes place, and love to come down and get a copy.
Yeah, he's been invited a couple of times to. Right now, he's a couple of podcasts want him to come on.
Oh, okay, great.
So he's already had that. And I think he's also invited one of the professors out of Stonehill, who's a local Cumberland. Remember, Michael's a local athlete.
That's right.
Everything was developed out of Cumberland. I wouldn't let him go. He mentions it in the book about not going him out.
Right.
And I said, no, I want you to play 3 sports. You're good at all 3 sports. And he did. And nothing against Mount. Don't get me wrong. But he's a local athlete that went through the Cumberland school system and developed himself as to what he did. And so I mean, to me, I'm so proud of it. It's just a great undertaking. We didn't expect it, but he did it. Just one quick thing. He got very sick. He thought he had a stroke at 51 years old. That was 2 years ago.
Wow.
And he said, I've got to leave something for my daughter. She's a great athlete in her own right at Fian. Broke all the scoring records actually as a sophomore. And he wanted to leave her things. And he always had. I always gave him all the articles that I saved and everything. So he had some good background to develop all these stories.
All right. And if you want to check it out, Amazon.com has it. The book is called Chasing the Goal, and it's by author Mike Murray. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way. Stay tuned.
Wow. Can you believe Gators Pub is celebrating its 35th year in business? Maybe the key to Gators' success is our super friendly staff. Or maybe the fact that the chefs at Gators are constantly making some of the freshest and most delicious dishes around. If you've never been, come on down and check out our great lunch specials from Monday through Thursday. They also offer complimentary soup during lunch. Watch the Boston Red Sox on one of our many TVs while enjoying classic apps like fresh potato skins or our famous pita chips. Come watch a volleyball game and have a burger or one of our newest cocktail creations. Gators is located on Route 102 in North Smithfield, about 1 mile before Wright's Chicken Farm. Come say hello.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. I mean, mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
It's time for the 15th annual Breakfast with the Saints at the St. Anarton Cultural Center on Sunday, April 27th from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Enjoy a delicious breakfast buffet under the center's magnificent frescoes. Tickets are $20 in advance or $25 at the door and are available at Belo's Flowers, Creative Impressions, The Honey Shop, Pine Swamp Place, Timeless Antiques, Vaux's True Value Hardware. Visit the St. Anarton Cultural Center website, or to reserve a table, call 401-486-9380.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with former mayor of the town of Cumberland. That would be Bill Murray. We're also being joined at the coffee and table by Leslie Page from the Woonsocket Harris Public Library. We'll let you sit and get your computer all ready to go. So we won't jump in with her right now. But we did get a note called in. It's just on a completely different topic. And Bill, maybe this is something you dealt with while you were mayor in Cumberland. It just said landlords back in the news. They never really left. In Connecticut, tenants are already on edge as investors from nearby New York have flooded in. A VP of Connecticut Tenants Union said lots of evictions have been caused as owners have to repay loans that count on steep rent increases. We see landlords using anything imaginable to raise the rent. Often they don't even come up with a reason. The same unknown reasons apply in Rhode Island. Were you hearing that a lot? When you were in Cumberland?
And we had it too. Because I go back, now the time it's passing, it was 6 years ago, but we had people that were buying I call them business speculators, buying these condos.
Mhm.
And why did they buy it? They bought it to make money.
Mhm.
And so, like I look at the one that was on Manville Hill Road. There's a big condo operation there. Well, you got two problems. First of all, you never know when they're going to raise the rents because they're going to make money. The second major problem was the upkeep because they didn't stay with it. They just that was one of the biggest problems. And the third thing was the clientele because they didn't screen anybody. They just as long as you wanted to rent, you rented. So those were what we were dealing with more than the raising of the rents. We were dealing with the other problems that came around that. As it got worse? I would think so, just listening and seeing things. And it doesn't surprise me because that's what's happened. There's a lot, especially out of New York, these money people, they're going in to see any, I've heard down like in Narragansett, they're buying a lot of these summer places. And again, for business, gains.
Yeah.
And I always go back to it. I was in the business world many years. These businesses all survive by how much money I can make. So they're going to try every little gimmick.
All right. Yeah. So it just goes on and on.
It does. It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Leslie Page joins us every Monday here on the Coffee and Program to talk about what's going on at the Woonsocket Harris Public Library. So go ahead, Leslie. Tell us what's going on.
Thank you. Good morning. Our hours are Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We offer self-service photocopying and faxing, and our reference department provides notary services free of charge on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m., 2 to 4 p.m., and 6 to 8 p.m., Tuesday and Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. and 2 to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. This week, the Children's Department is offering Sensory Exploration Fun today at 10 a.m. and on Wednesday, April 23rd, also at 10 a.m. Book Buddies on Wednesday, April 23rd at 4 p.m. and Read to Storm the Alaskan Malamute on Saturday, April 26th at 2 p.m. For more information about all children's programs, please call 767-4122. Our teen department holds a tabletop role-playing game every Tuesday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Anyone age 11 through 18 is welcome. Storytelling through theater is a drop-in workshop for ages 11 through 18 at the library every Thursday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. For more information on all teen programs, please call 767-4132. The next Tech Tuesday will be held on Tuesday, April 29th at 2 p.m. Learn to use the Libby app to check out ebooks and audiobooks from the library on your mobile devices. Call 767-4124 to register. To celebrate Poetry Month, we are holding our annual poetry contest. Poems may be submitted through April 30th. There is a limit of 2 submissions per person. Please include your name, address, phone number, and whether you are a student or an adult. Students should also include their grade, school, and teacher's name. For more information, please call 767-4132. All of the latest information about programs, services we offer, and how to reach us can be found at our website, woonsocketlibrary.org, or on our Facebook page. If you have any questions or would like more information about anything I've mentioned today, please call us at 769-9044. And we look forward to seeing you at the library.
Well, you made it through school vacation week okay?
Yes, we did.
Okay,
We did.
well, that's excellent. All right, now how about this for, we're going into the 21st century. We're in the 21st century now. But Bill, you grew up in New York City. You worked in New York City for a while.
Right.
This is what they're trying to do now. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I know. I don't know, but I can't imagine.
Air taxis are in the works with United Airlines. There's a company called Archer Aviation. They shared last week that it's partnering with United Airlines to develop an air taxi network in New York City. Passengers will be taken from Manhattan to nearby airports by piloted midnight electric air taxis that can carry up to 4 passengers. The service will eventually be available to book as an add-on to regular airline tickets through Archer's app. Very Jetsons.
That doesn't surprise me. Now, I haven't been in. Well, we've been out of here. We're 60 years now here in Rhode Island, but even back then, you can't move. You really. It's impossible to drive in New York.
Right.
It's just impossible. It's always been, and and I know now. I mean, I go back every once in a while because I have family there. It's worse.
Okay.
And so that doesn't surprise me. But there's also a little gimmick here. Not a gimmick, but if you remember that helicopter that just went down with that family from Spain.
That's right.
And that was a big attraction. They're going to close a lot of them down because now the air traffic, that's what I'm thinking about here.
Over New York City's too crowded?
The air traffic is unbelievable. And
wow.
So I don't know how... to be successful, I would assume you'd have to have, if it's only 4 passengers, you'd have to, if it goes over, and I think it would.
Eventually.
Because people, even if you take an Uber, you're going to be stuck in the traffic. It's not because you're driving. So I really question because I just read that they're really very seriously, because you get realize the population.
Yeah.
If that helicopter didn't go down in the river and went into, the
building,
line of where I know that area. I used to sell for a couple of years down there. That's so populated that if that copter did not go down in the water, that would have been an absolute disaster. Yeah.
So where do the air taxis pick you up? Do you have to go to the top of a building? It doesn't say. I don't know. Do you have to go to Central Park?
No, I would assume. Because you have to have, obviously, like in New York, they have these helipads. You have some of the helipads
so you'd have to go there
for these big corporations.
Yeah.
Because that's how those executives get around. So
All
this is
it's coming,
and they can't. I mean, where are they going to land in Central Park?
Well, I don't know.
It's very but it's,
I was just thinking of a big, wide open area.
No, you're absolutely right, but where can you land?
Well, I don't know.
Unless you land on a ball field.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll look for this to come.
Yeah.
All right. This is the other wave of the future. This is out in California, though. Robot retail has arrived. There's a company called VenHub, VenHub, and they've opened 2 robot-operated convenience stores in California. No people. All right? Operating like a cashless vending machine, which is basically what it is, customers can order items on the VenHub app, pay for it that way, and then when you show up at the store, I don't know, you screen your QRC code, I guess, your Q code, and a robot arm will go retrieve the items and give them to you, dispense them through a drawer. And you just pick them up and you're on your way.
No.
So VenHub says that stores have lower building and operating costs. Yes, there's no people. So therefore, the prices are lowest for the customers. Yet we're not employing anybody. So we keep putting people on unemployment.
Well,
so
somebody
is this a
would
good thing? I don't know.
Wouldn't someone have to stock the place?
The robots.
Yes.
Probably the robots do.
Maybe the
They probably
robots
have
do.
a robot that really.
We'll just drop it off, and the robots can stock it as well. They'd have to have deliveries, but the actual ringing of a register, that's done.
But it cuts down, I would assume, because they have such an awful time out there with break-ins in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
They say that a lot of stores out there, especially the drugstores, everything's behind glass doors and locks.
So this is in North Hollywood, California.
Nothing in California surprises
me. And it's a convenience store. So you go on the VenHub app and say, I want I need a bottle of soda, and some potato chips, and I don't know, a gallon of milk, and then you pay for it, and then you show up, and they just, here you go. So.
They destroy my age group. I can't even go to. Now you go to even the airports. You have to go through all these screens and everything.
Oh yeah.
Well, I panic, and I don't think I'm a dumb person. I just it's like, oh my God.
It's like the Jetsons. You go, you just punch in what you
push
want,
some buttons,
and out it comes.
Well, I'll tell you a good one. I went to the VA for my blood work. I go to the VA, and always had service and everything. And I've been going there for, 20-something years. I go Friday, there's a new machine there standing in there. There used to be a person
clock in.
behind a window, and you give them the card, and you
Not
take,
anymore.
because you get 8 or 9 people
Yeah.
in line. And there's a screen, and there's arrows pointing everywhere. Well, I figured it out, and I sat down, and you know what? At least 8 people behind me couldn't figure it out. But people were jumping up to help them.
Wow.
And I said to the girl, she said,
Yeah, we
supposedly it's supposed to save time for us.
No, it's-
But the problem is everybody's coming in here so aggravated.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's like...
All right. One more thing before we gotta go. It's Boston Marathon Day, but a half marathon was held in Beijing, China on Saturday. They had some unique runners. Some 21 of the 12,000 competitors were humanoid robots.
Oh, boy. Here
They
we go.
jogged on a separate track, but only 6 of the 21 were able to finish. They were slower than the humans, with the fastest robot clocking in at the finish line at 2 hours 40 minutes, but they had to change the battery 3 times.
Were they male or female?
That's a great question. I don't know. All right, that does it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Our thanks to Dominic Dwaron, who joined us. Our thanks to Dan Genrin and Dave Richards, who joined us on the phone. Leslie, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
Thank
Bill
you.
Murray, thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
All right, remember Mike Murray's book, Chasing the Goal. His son wrote a book called Chasing the Goal by Mike Murray. Is available on right now on Amazon, and hopefully they'll have a book signing, and we'll hear all about that a little later on.
Yeah, good.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day. Stay tuned. We have music coming your way. The Tiki Bar's tonight at 6, and then it's the Woonsocket City Council meeting at 7 right here on ON.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the